She's looking at me weird because I've got my camera out. Every time I film, someone is staring at me like, what is she doing? I'm Danielle Jameson and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a story time video for you guys all about my first time drunk. I don't drink a lot. I'm not a big drinker. I don't go out partying all the time. I honestly don't see the attraction in getting drunk. I'll have a couple of ciders now and again, but that's about me done. I'm not judging anybody who does drink a lot, but I personally don't like drinking a lot. My first time drunk, it's just a mess of a story. It's a complete and utter mess. We had not long started university. This was a couple of years ago, back in 2014, and one of my new friends that I had made, because if you guys have seen like other stories I've done on my time at university so far and my experience, you guys all know that I only made a couple of new friends. I'm gonna make up fake names for them. I had made a couple of new friends, Margaret and Adam. Bob was my boyfriend at the time. Now Margaret had announced that she was throwing a party for Halloween. Alcohol sparks my anxiety, it just triggers it for some reason, I don't know why. I went in with Bob, my boyfriend at the time, and it was just like a house party. The house was decorated real cool. She'd obviously put like a lot of time and effort into it, and there was already quite a lot of people there by the time that we got there. Some of them were already drunk, and I'd already had a couple of drinks, and so had my boyfriend at the time. We literally stayed there for what, 1 or 2 hours, and then everyone was like, oh, we should go to the student union, they're having a party. And if you don't know what student union is, it's basically what every university will have here in the UK. It's basically like a club, a student union. That's like our go-to place for partying, for special events, things like that. So everyone wanted to go down to the student union. I was already feeling a little bit tipsy. I'd had a mixture of different drinks. Cider, I'd had Jack Daniels, vodka, and I'd had some like apple stuff too. I don't know what it was, but it tasted rank. I did not like it. I was starting to feel a little bit kind of like you know what I'm saying? A bit Because I don't drink a lot, it doesn't take me a lot to get drunk. At this point in time, I was actually taking medication for anxiety, and if you guys know anything about anxiety medication, you'll know that you are not supposed to drink on that medication. So that's another reason why I got drunk so quickly. So by this point, I'm like wobbling a little bit, and I said to Bob I needed to go and get some fresh air. And Bob came outside with me. I was like laying in the middle of the road. I was like screaming and shouting and just making a complete tit of myself. Definitely not a good idea, guys. I definitely wouldn't recommend that one. And everyone else wanted to go to the student union to the Halloween party. I was starting to feel sick. I couldn't really walk properly. So I was wearing heels and I had to take my heels off. So I said to Bob, because I had arranged to stay in Bob's student accommodation, and I said to him, I said, I cannot take any more alcohol. So we eventually arrived home, and at this point I just started to feel really, really sick. I'd gotten upstairs, Bob laid me down on the bed. The whole world, you guys, the room was spinning. And when I laid down, everything actually got worse for me, because even when I had my eyes shut, I could still feel the world kind of turning around me, and I was like, I'm gonna vomit. In this student accommodation, it was a shared bathroom, which is how it is in most student accommodations. No way in hell was I gonna make the bathroom. So there's a sink in everyone's room. So I ran to the sink, puked up in the sink, and I was puking for ages and ages, and my boyfriend at the time, Bob, he took a picture of me, and he was sat and he was like laughing like, haha, I knew that you were gonna get drunk, I knew that you were gonna be sick. So finally, when I'd finished being sick, I got back into bed and I sat and watched my boyfriend clean the sink out, because this sounds really disgusting, but my sick was quite thick and it was like sticking to the sides of the sink. Oh god. And my boyfriend had to get some gloves on and actually clean up around in the sink where I'd threw up, and it just wasn't going down the plug hole. I fell asleep, and I don't know, I had a really crazy dream, and I woke up in such a fright and such a shock, and my anxiety was kicking in and I was having a panic attack. My heart was beating so fast, and when I was looking around the room to try and find Bob, he wasn't there. So I'm like having a panic attack, I'm like breathing deeply, I'm feeling really faint at this point. I was like wobbling all over, obviously because I was still drunk. And I went out, and Bob's room was the last room before the stairs down into like the dining room, the kitchen area. Trying not to fall over the banister, but I was like grabbing onto the banister and I was like, whoa, like this. Bob lived with a few random people, but he had one friend who stayed with him, and this friend was like his closest buddy. I kind of heard him speaking to his friend, so I was like, oh, he must be in his room that was just opposite Bob's. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll just wait here for them to come out, try and calm myself down, wobbling all over the banisters, like, whoa, the stairs are here, and then they're here, and then they're here. It was just like crazy. Finally, after like 5-10 minutes of standing on top of the landing, Bob comes out of his friend's room and is like, what are you doing? Why are you here? At this point I was crying. I was in such a state. It was horrible, honestly, you guys. He calmed me down, and then we finally got to bed. And in the morning when I woke up, I actually felt fine. That was the first proper time drunk, and that will be my last. The point of the story here is, please be careful when you guys are drinking or you're drunk. I'm not gonna sit here and say don't drink. All I'm saying is just be careful if you choose to drink, because things like that, like I was laying in the middle of the road, I could have got hit by a car. Be sensible, really. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, make sure to click on that subscribe button. You guys can now follow me on Instagram. It's danielle.kate.jameson, all in lowercase. Come and follow me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video.